Hello, everyone. Welcome to our stream. We will start just in 30 seconds. We are waiting also for my partner, Iwan, to join us today, and he will speak today with me about Web3 fundraising trends. Welcome, Iwan.
Hello, Taras. Hello, everyone. Great to be here today. I think I will share my screen today. I have your presentation, so we will use it in order not to lose the quality um, as a lessons learned from the past. I would briefly start with an introduction. My name is Ivan. I'm a general partner at 3x Capital. We are investment and advisory firm. We focus on the investments in fundamental blockchain startups, infrastructure, projects, and Web3 applications. In the past, we have done 45 investments in the pre-listing stage as an angels and as a syndicate. We work closely with the startups. We help them to build their data rooms, to improve their financial materials, as well as to help them to raise money and scale their product. I will start sharing my screen. Just give me a second. The presentation is ready. Do you see my screen, Taras?
Yes, we can see your screen. All good.
Amazing. Dear ladies and gentlemen, today we will talk about fundraising trends in our Web3 market. And we have a very simple and straightforward agenda. First of all, we will speak about trends, the statistics, and we will talk about the recent investments in this field. Our speaker today would be Taras Yavorskyy. He is my friend and the general partner. He did a lot of operational business activities in the past. He was managing a big company that he built from scratch and sold his shares to his partner. They were providing outstaffing services for big brands like Google, Apple, Zara, and many others. Taras, welcome to the online stage. The stage is yours.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Ivan, for your introduction. Today, we'll speak about Web3 fundraising trends. It's a good topic to cover today for you, and we will not just go through trends. We will try to deep dive in statistics from Q1, Q3, try to compare it to 2022, and at the same time, we together analyzed a couple of startups that raised capital during last 5 months. Maybe Iwan will also provide some insights, and hope this will be really interesting. Feel free to ask questions, and Iwan helps me to answer it. So in LinkedIn, Twitter, and in YouTube, try to answer anything related to Web3 fundraising trends, and it will be really good together to understand maybe some trends that are happening right now. And first trend I would like to share today with you, it's Web3 infrastructure startups. It's projects that focused on building decentralized networks and platforms, and they can be used for a variety of purpose. Of course, all decentralized applications, dApps, can be created as blockchain platforms. It can be different decentralized storage solutions and DeFi protocols. Web3 infrastructure also provides developers with tools to design and deploy their own apps without having to manage their own server infrastructure. Next trend that I would like to share with you is zero knowledge proof. And you should imagine a world where your financial transactions, some more, maybe medical records, legal contracts, they are all conducted in complete privacy and without any third-party involvement. So this may sound like an utopian dream, but with advent of zero knowledge proofs, it's become a reality. And together we can use this technology that allows us to uh, do verification of information without any underlying data or parties to be involved. This also opened us a new possibility for confidential transactions and interactions in various industries. So it's, in my view, perfect for transactions and interactions that require a high level of privacy and security. Next trend, it's decentralized oracles. And if you are working with smart contracts, you know that they are only as good as the data they are given, but smart contracts can only execute the tasks. So they were programmed to do some based on the data to give you some access, and that's where decentralized oracles can come into the game, and they can breach some information between blockchain world we are using on a daily basis to outside world. Fourth trend, it's AR and VR. And in 2023, it could be hopefully a year for VR-enabled metaverse, as Web3 adoption is continues to rise across the globe. So big companies, they are leaping into the industry, and as you probably know, HTS, it's good phones from maybe 20, 2055 to 2010. They raised around 35 millions, and they're coming back to consumer market with their flagship of AR VR headset. Also, we saw a Meta that did a Meta Quest Pro, and Samsung Electronics, they invested in LATAM Metaverse initiative just recently. So AR and VR part is developing really fast. According to Crunchbase, in 2023 and in Q4 2022, this startups, they raised around $2 billion. So AR VR space is developing really fast, and maybe Iwan will add how Threes Capital is also using different tools from Metaverse on a daily or weekly basis.
Sure, sure. We have an acceleration program for startups, and we usually use our metaverse spaces in order to present the content in more innovational model. Also, they allow us as a participants of the metaverse to engage using the similar tools that currently we use, like a screen share. You can also build some objects in the air in the metaverse, and also you can put some notes in order to brainstorm when you think about some different ideas that you would like to discuss with the participants. Thank you, Taras. And how do you see the AR evolving in the space? What business models do you see in the future for the AR?
I would really like to see a lot of games in AR, VR. I plan to buy AR, VR headset really soon and start playing different AR, VR games. So first of all, I would like to see really developing game industry in AR, VR world, and we can see some subscriptions. Let's say you are buying for $20 subscription per month, and you can get access to different um, uh, calls with your friends, family, or organize some business events. Second one, it's gaming space, as I mentioned. Third one, maybe we can organize some AR VR co-working space where we can work together, and with this remote workspace that even in our fund we are actively using, it can give us a feeling that we are working together, and maybe it can give a positive impact for results inside the team, inside the startup, etc. Do you have any other thoughts to add here?
No, thank you. I think you already provided a lot of information on that. I also saw like a few marketing agencies are leveraging AR technology when they are creating different um, expos for their fashion startups, so they can, just use the phones that will show an additional like design on the cloth and models. I saw it in real life, and it looks very innovative.
I just saw a new film on Netflix about this model space, and how using VR AR technologies we can use less real clothes on a daily basis. So it can actually be a good initiative about bringing some positive impact to the climate change and use less resources from our planet. So people will buy less real clothes and buy some virtual one. I also read a statistics that a lot of people, they buying different stuff and using it just once to show it on Instagram. So you can buy a dress and you can use it just once, and it's just sitting in your wardrobe. But here you can maybe buy some metaverse shoes, use it as much as possible, and you will not buy so many clothes. I even found one interesting book about a woman that decided to not buy any clothes for a year, and how her life changed. So coming to our next trend, it's refi. It's actually some touching my information I provided just recently. So instead of just making profits, refi focus on creating positive impact to the society, to the environmental. So you can think about investing in renewable energy, some agriculture or other projects that will make the world a better place for everyone to live in. And for instance, we can successful uh, um, show results in terms of merging Ethereum uh, 2023, coming from proof of concept mechanism, which claim to reduce energy consumption for more than 99%. So this trend significantly developed right now in crypto industry space, and we can see new startups that trying to use refi. At the same time, venture capital firms, as they are trying to see more potential in refi, and it's cannot just generate some, let's say, positive impact for climate change, but it can also generate good returns for the venture firms. So in 2023, we can see that a lot of pivot projects occurred, and later on we will show a couple of fundraising rounds that were closed just recently in refi space. Uh, what do you think, Ivan, about refi, and how do you think it can be developing next year or so?
Mm, I think it can impact the whole industry. Currently, there is a huge, I think, lack of real use cases of the this innovative niche. But I'm looking forward to see how it will evolve, and looking forward to see the new big trend, similar what happened with DeFi, NFTs, and I frankly I see that maybe game finance will be the next game changer in the industry. I'm just speaking with a lot of different blockchains and how they behave and how they put a lot of efforts and capital in order to launch at least one successful game that will bring millions of users to their blockchain. So maybe also game finance is something that we can discuss in the future. But of course, it takes a lot of time and efforts to build a very like a very beautiful game that will have like millions of users. I saw some statistics, and on average, it takes up to 6 years to do it. So I think we have to wait for a couple more years to see game finance adoption and delivery of successful games. Let's move to the next part, Taras.
Yeah, and now let's check if we have any questions before we move to part two and review some statistics in terms of fundraising rounds in first 5 months of 2023. Uh, we are streaming on our YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitter page. So if you are not following us on Twitter or YouTube, please do it. It helps us to develop our social pages, and we are producing a lot of interesting articles uh, every week. Please follow, read, comment, share it with your colleagues, friends. It actually helps us and give us additional motivation to do a lot of research and share it with you, our friends, startups, and other stakeholders who are working with us. Uh, in part number two, we will look on fundraising trends, also some numbers of funding rounds by different investors. We also consider some funding location that are really popular right now. And last one, what I really like, it's most active we see jurisdictions in global space. We checked it with our team just recently, and it's interesting where most startups are located. So, coming to fundraising trends and what we can see during 2023. First of all, you can see a good numbers for March, but it's not in terms of big amount of startups that got funding. It's because Stripe raised around 6.5 billion with lead investor as Andrews Horowitz. It's interesting move, but it was just one company that raised a lot of capital in March, so it's the reason why we can see such big numbers with them. Without Stripe funding round, and if we also not consider eToro investment lead by SoftBank in March, we can understand that just in March, 1 billion was invested in startups. So I believe starting from January 2023, every month around $1 billion were invested in Web3 crypto space in new and already established startups. Comparing to numbers in 2022, it's at least in 3-4 times lower. I hope that starting from August, September, we can see a new trend and all fundraising trends will rise again. Here, I would like to also hear thoughts from Iwan about crypto fundraising trends and numbers from this year. What are your thoughts? Can we see something different for second part of the year in terms of number of capital raised by the startups?
Frankly, as you mentioned, we see a huge decline and in terms of the amount of investments, but still we have a number of very active players in the market who are deploying capital and investing in up to 3 startups every month. I think that the market currently is waiting for some big new trend that will drive it. So similar to what happened with artificial intelligence recently, and of course, it was just a start of the ChatGPT with their great utilities and business models for the community and mass adoption. But I'm frankly waiting for the integration of something new in the space, and maybe ZK rollups that will offer the great scaling solution for many blockchains will definitely be a game changer. But frankly, we have to wait for some new tech that will lead to a mass adoption. So something similar that has happened already with DeFi and NFTs in the past couple of years.
Thank you, Ivan, for your insights. Coming to number of funding rounds by different investors, still we can see that Coinbase Ventures are leading the space, and they invested in more than 90 startups during last year. In top funds that are actively deploying capital right now, it's Animoca Brands. We can see them during last couple of years as probably one of core investor in different startups. At the same time, Shima Capital and Big Brain Holdings, together with A16Z, Polygon Fund, and Circle, actively deploying capital. Still on 1 year graph, we can see some players that are not deploying capital right now at all, such as FTX Ventures, but they are on a list because during last year they were quite active before the event we know happened. So more startups in those investors were get from blockchain service, NFT, stablecoin, GameFi, social, and DeFi. And you can see that blockchain service actually were the most popular type of startup by Coinbase Venture. So coming to funding location and what surprised me a lot, it's Singapore and Hong Kong. They are among 4 leaders. So for United States as a leader, I believe it will not change in nearest future. United Kingdom on a second place, and Singapore with Hong Kong on a third and fourth place. So for me, it was a big surprise. And a lot of investment rounds were in Europe, especially in Germany, France, and Switzerland. And last one, it's China. So still, China is in top 10. A lot of startups gets funding rounds there. Even when crypto and all this Web3 space is not so popular there, and everyone's trying to invest in other locations. What do you think will be in the future of funding rounds in terms of location? Do you think something will change, Ivan? Can we see new countries on this list this year?
Sure. I think that due to the regulatory uncertainty in the US, I think that the situation might change in terms of the investments, and already many companies like Ripple and Coinbase, for instance, they are searching for the better place that will provide this clarity to do their business properly. I just recently read, and I was impressed that I don't remember. I think Coinbase, they spent around $200 million on lawyers with SEC. So maybe this unclarity or strict regulation will change the situation here. Also, I think that from the 1st of June, the investments will be available for everyone in Hong Kong. So this will also be a driver for the market growth in terms of early stage investments. So I think that already a lot of licenses were received in Hong Kong. And moreover, the UAE market is growing very fast. As for now, they provided more than 800 licenses to crypto startups from the March previous year. So I think they are on track to also become one of maybe 5 or 6 leading countries in terms of funding.
Agreed. At the same time, countries like India, South Korea, Israel, it's still in top 10, and I believe those countries will just increase number of funding rounds. Right now, they're trying to be really locations that attract a lot of startups to be based there. And coming to map, I would like to share today with you. First of all, as I mentioned at the beginning, a lot of startups raise capital in Europe, a lot in United Kingdom. Around 122 startups raised capital there during last 6 months. On the second location in Europe, it's France. For me, it was a big surprise. Around 49 startups there, and on a third place in Europe is Switzerland with 46 startups during the last 6 months. On the fourth place in Europe is Netherlands with 42 startups, and last one is Germany with 37 startups raised during last 6 months. In other locations, I would like to point your attention to United States. More than 1,300 startups raised there during the last 6 months. So it's still not comparing even to other locations. More than 100 startups raised just in Singapore, around 191, and in China it's around 102 startups. I hope to see more locations during next 6 months. As Ivan mentioned, Middle East is developing really fast, and not just Dubai or Abu Dhabi, also Saudi attract a lot of companies to be based there. We planned our business trip to Saudi in nearest future, also to understand better this country and how we can cooperate with this startup space. Next part we would like to share with you is recent investments round, and coming to first startups I would like to check with you. It's already mentioned Stripe before. eToro was 250 million raised in March. They closed round on 2nd of March, and we already know that Layer Zero raised their Series B in April with 120 million. Also Ledger, they are right now on a hype with new update, and I would like probably to ask Ivan, what are your thoughts about Ledger? Will they work well after this update, or do you think it will change how customers are seeing Ledger?
Mhm. Frankly, I didn't dive deep, and I even didn't update my own Ledger wallet. But I think that this update may lead to the development of the rest of the market in terms of hardware wallets. For instance, there is one competitor that I also try to use. It's called Trezor. So they launched also few types of hardware wallets. They are not so cool in terms of their user experience, but I tried it a couple of years ago, so maybe the situation has changed. Speaking about this update that happened recently, I'm not deeply aware about the situation.
I saw a lot of videos where people are just destroying their ledger or saying that they don't want to use it anymore. So let's see how this trend will continue. A few other startups on this list I would like to point your attention. It's first of all EOS. They raised more than 60 million in April. Also Scroll, 50 million raised in March. And AI startup Fetch, they raised around 40 million in March. Coming to other startups, we would like to show you today. It's also BitKeep. They raised 30 million in March. Say Network in April closed around with 30 million with lead investor Multicon Capital. Match Day, it's interesting startup I checked by my own last week. They raised 21 million. I would like also to continue following them. It's an interesting startup in my view. Coming to next page.
This is the last page, I think. Maybe I have to update the presentation, Taras.
Not really. I will double check it from my, yeah, maybe something goes wrong, but probably those two pages of startups, it's good to understand last trends in the space. And today, together with Iwan, we went through three main topics. First of all, we went through trends and last five industries that actively deploying and getting funding rounds. Next one, we went through statistics from Q1 and Q2 of this year. Also compared it to 2022. And last one, it's recent investments, starting from Stripe with 6.5 billion raised and up to Match Days that raised 21 million. Iwan, would you like to add anything from your side about recent crypto investments? Maybe some startups I didn't mention.
I think we discussed everything and even more. So we do not just discuss the investments in tokens, but also you can see a lot of investments in equity in centralized exchanges like eToro, for instance. I personally follow Scroll, and I think their solution will potentially be a game changer in the market. So check on your own, and probably they have a testnet activity, so you can test their technology and understand how to use it. Also, put attention on Layer 0. So they closed Series B round from Sequoia Capital, as you can see, and they also have a testnet right now open for everyone, so you can try their technology and in the future potentially receive their tokens. Thank you, Taras, for your time today. I see that we do not have questions from the audience, and I think it's a great moment to close our meeting. So thank you everyone as well for joining. Looking forward to meet you in the future 3x Capital events.
Thank you, everyone. Have a nice Saturday evening. See you on our next event. Bye bye.
Bye.